see people talking a lot about the Marshall Islands, and I have to question it because as a offshore domiciliation location jurisdiction, it's not really high on my list. Um, you know, the Marshall Islands is very, I guess, for lack of a better, socialist, right? It's very insular, and as a result, there's no real financial services sector, right? It's all government controlled, as is basically everything. So there's no real reason to incorporate there because there's no financial license to obtain. Um, and I've seen this, like I've seen crypto companies thinking that they need to domicile there and other things like that. And I don't, it doesn't make any sense. Outside of that, the cost can be prohibitive for what you're obtaining. And there's economic substance rules that were recently enacted. And I've talked about this in the context of Belize, where now it's not enough to simply obtain a corporation and use that as a holding company. You have to have a physical presence on island that is commensurate with the activity or the activities that the company undertakes. So even for something that's like a real estate holding company, your economic substance requirements could include renting an office and hiring staff, depending on the scope of your operations, and you're subject to a fine and all these other things. Obviously, you wouldn't pay, but the company would be fined, and you just lose the company. That are inherent in this economic substance, which has really killed Belize's industry of offshore corporations. And the Marshall Islands seems to have just followed suit and never really had a real basis to be anything else to begin with, right? It is a tax neutral jurisdiction, but it's not a particularly favorable place to do business, and there's no business to do there in the first place, right? So I see that, and I just kind of question why. I mean, and there's a lot of providers out there promoting it as this next tax haven, and they're OECD compliant, so there's information sharing as well, so they really can't be a tax haven. But I had the question, so I had to vent about it because it just doesn't make any sense, to be honest with you. But the Marshall Islands, I would run as fast as I could away from it because I don't think it gives you any benefit, especially when compared to a Cook Islands or a Nevis or any of those locations that I've talked about many times before. So Marshall Islands, forget about it. If you have any questions, Adam at AdamTracy, TRACY.io, and I'll look forward to talking to you later.